Hello, rhythm rebels and history hunters. Did you know that a simple drumbeat could topple empires, whispering secrets of freedom across sugarcane fields under the cover of night? Imagine colonial overlords, sweating in their powdered wigs, banning an entire sound because it carried the coded cries of the oppressed. Yet that very silence birthed the revolutionary rhythms echoing in every reggae track you love. In this deep dive, we'll uncover how forbidden drums in the Caribbean sparked bloody revolts, evolved into iconic instruments like the steel pan, and revolutionized music from calypso to global anthems of resistance. Buckle up for a journey through betrayal, ingenuity, and unbreakable spirit that'll make you hear history in every beat. If you crave these untold tales of triumph over tyranny, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell. We're just getting started. Picture this. It's the sweltering dawn of the 18th century in Jamaica's misty blue mountains. Enslaved Africans, torn from their homelands like Akan warriors from Ghana's Gold Coast, or Yoruba drummers from Nigeria's rivers, huddle in the shadows of vast sugar plantations. They've lost their languages, their gods, their very names, but not their rhythm. Drums weren't just music, they were lifelines. In West Africa, talking drums like the atampan mimicked speech, rising and falling in tones that spelled out messages miles away. The king calls his people, or danger approaches from the east, transported across the brutal Middle Passage. These skills survived. On plantations, a low boom might signal gather at midnight, while a sharp rattle warned militia patrol incoming. Colonial ears caught the fear in those beats, rhythms that mocked their control, uniting the broken into a secret network. But oh, how the planters trembled. Edward Long, a British historian, in his 1774 History of Jamaica, scribbled frantic warnings. The Negroes' drums convey intelligence with amazing rapidity. He described how these hellish noises fueled Maroon communities, runaway slaves who'd forged free societies in the hills, allying uneasily with the British against full-scale war. Yet the drums drummed on, carrying tales of obeah magic, spiritual pacts that promised bullets would turn to water for the faithful. Was it superstition, or the unyielding will of a people refusing to be silenced? As one Maroon elder later recalled in oral histories archived on JSTOR, the drum spoke what our tongues could not, freedom's first word. This wasn't mere noise. It was warfare by waveform, setting the stage for explosions that would shake the islands. Fast forward to 1739, and the terror boils over. The Stono Rebellion in South Carolina, a bloody clash where 20 whites and 44 Africans fell, sends shockwaves across the Caribbean. Jamaica's assembly, hearts pounding, inks the first drum ban into law. No drums, horns, or unlawful assemblies after dark. Violators, whipped, branded, or hanged in iron cages at Kingston's parade, left to rot as grim billboards. Trinidad follows in 1797 under British rule, outlawing African tongues and Shango rituals outright, fearing those seditious beats would summon revolts like the ones ripping through French Saint-Domingue. Barbados tightens the noose in 1816, just as whispers of emancipation tease the air. Planters like those on Bailey's plantation patrolled with muskets, convinced every distant thump was a death knell. Yet here's the genius, the sheer audacity. They didn't stop. Bamboo joints became makeshift stompers, tamboo bamboo bands thundering through Carnival streets, mimicking drum tones with stomps and clacks. Bottles gurgled bass lines, spoons scraped urgent calls. In Trinidad's Laventille Hills, secret Shango ceremonies pulsed on, defying the 1883 Canbalay riots ban that left 22 dead. As one anonymous diarist noted in colonial records, they beat their bodies like drums, turning flesh to thunder. These weren't acts of defiance, they were declarations. The bans, meant to crush spirits, only forged fiercer ones, proving that when you outlaw a sound, you invent a symphony. And as the 19th century dawned, those rhythms sharpened into weapons of war. Now, let's crank up the suspense. April 7th, 1760, Easter Monday, in Jamaica's St. Mary Parish. Tacky, a towering Coromantee chief once crowned in Ghana's Aguafo Kingdom, slips his chains at frontier plantation. No ordinary slave, he's a strategist, fluent in English from bartering with traders before his capture. With 200 followers armed with machetes and obeah charms, he strikes. Overseers' throats slit. Trinity Plantation torched arms, looted from the fort. But the drums, they lead the charge. Coded beats ripple from parish to parish. Rise now, brothers, the king's army marches, sparking a chain reaction. Over 1,000 join, from Esher Estate to Montego Bay, burning crops, freeing hundreds. Vincent Brown's Tacky's Revolt maps it like a guerrilla symphony. Drums coordinate ambushes, outfoxing 3,000 British troops and Maroon allies. The horror unfolds in waves. Tacky, betrayed by a collaborator, falls in a Blue Mountain cave, his head spiked on a pole. But the fire spreads. Apongos rebels in Westmoreland hold out for months, using drum signals to evade patrols. Hundreds executed, burned alive, gibbeted. Their bodies, a macabre parade, cost £250,000, half Jamaica's annual revenue, pushing Britain toward abolition talks. Cut to Barbados, 1816. Busa, an Igbo ranger at Bailey's, hears the echoes. Inspired by Haitian whispers and false free papers rumors, he rallies 400 Creoles and Africans. Drums boom covertly. Easter dawn sees the militia. They torch plantations, but superior firepower crushes them. Busa killed, 100 hanged. Nanny Grigg, a fierce domestic slave and co-leader, swings from the gallows, her last words lost to wind. These weren't random flares. They were drum-orchestrated wars, costing lives, but cracking the empire's facade. What if one more beat had turned the tide? But revolution needs more than rebellion. It needs rebirth. Enter the innovators of Trinidad's underbelly, the 1930s junkyard alchemists. Drums banned since the 1880s, Canbalay riots. No problem. Tamboo bamboo evolves. Hollow stalks thumped for bass booms. Lighter ones for fool alehis. Spoons clinking toot rhythms. Rival bands clash in Carnival streets, not with fists, but symphonies of sound, parodying colonial lords in calypso, chants that sting like satire. Yet bamboo cracks under the frenzy, so metal creeps in. Dustbin lids crash like cymbals, break drums, whale irons. By 1934, even bamboos outlawed after street brawls. But the hills of Laventille hide the spark. Enter the oil drum, 55-gallon behemoths, discarded from World War II American bases. Ellie Manette, a teenage tuner from the Invaders Band, sinks notes into one in 1939. Ping-pong highs for melody, grumbling lows for harmony. Winston Spree, Simon adds the first full bass pan in 1940. No formal training, just ears tuned to African ghosts. These pans aren't drums. They're idiophones, chromatic wonders born of trash. By 1948, bands like Desperados boast 100 players, strumming harmonies in bomb style, calypso tempos for classical twists. The 1951 Festival of Britain sees Taspo, Trinidad all-steel percussion orchestra, stun London with Brahms and Mambos, proving steel's global timbre. From forbidden thumps to panorama competitions, drawing 30,000, this evolution screams resilience. What colonials silenced, the people amplified into anthems that dance across oceans. Feel that pulse quicken. Those steel souls didn't stay island-bound. Calypso, born in Trinidad's patois-laced chants, mocking masters, goes viral in the 1930s. Lionel Belasco Records, Mama's Gone Goodbye, in New York. By 1956, Harry Belafonte's Dio sells millions, blending banana boat woes with upbeat defiance. Though purists gripe it's watered down, yet it opens doors. Mighty Sparrows, witty jabs at politics. Lord Kitchener's World War II broadcasts from London, fueling independence dreams. Jamaica grabs the baton post-1962, nyabinghi chants, Rastafarian drum circles invoking Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie, merry with ska's offbeat bounce, birthing reggae in the 1960s Trenchtown slums. Bob Marley's Wailers turn steel pan echoes into one love, but rooted in band rhythms. The one-drop beat mimics talking drums. Get up, stand up, echoes Tacky's call. Peter Tosh rails against Babylon in Equal Rights, drawing from Boos's fire. By the 1970s, reggae riots in Jamaica mirror old revolts, clashes, White Riot nods to it all. Globally, steel pans hit Queens under pressure, Metallica's covers. Calypso sways in Paul Simon's rhythms. Today, Barbadian tuk bands thump at Cropover, honoring Boosa with kettle drums reborn. These sounds, outlawed once, now soundtrack protests from Ferguson to global Black Lives Matter marches. Isn't it wild how a silenced beat became the world's heartbeat? Yet the drum's shadow lingers dark. Post-emancipation, noise ordinances in Jamaica's 1816 codes morphed into modern biases. Dancehall bands in the 2010s echo colonial fears, targeting loud black joy. In Barbados, champs sports events drum-free since 2013, a ghost of Boos's noose, but resistance remixes. Trinidad's steel pan schools teach kids coding via rhythms. Jamaica's Maroon revival festivals pulse with atom pan replicas, reclaiming heritage. Imagine a young Trini in Laventille, 1940s, hammering her first pan amid police raids. Her story, pieced from oral archives, whispers to today's panorama queens like Michelle Huggins Watts, who shattered male dominance with a 2013 win. Or Nanny Griggs' spirit in Rihanna's Barbados pride, her Fenty beats laced with island defiance. These aren't relics, they're revolutions reloaded. As climate change drowns lowlands and inequality bites, those rhythms rally. Reggae suns for COP summits, calypso calls for reparations. What secrets do they still hold codes for tomorrow's freedoms? Drums didn't stop at Jamaica's shores. They crossed to Saint Domingue, fueling the 1791 uprising that birthed Haiti. Vodou ceremonies, pulsing with Congo drums, summoned 100,000 at Bois Caiman. Coded beats like Ogu strikes, the iron rallied slaves against 30,000 French troops. Toussaint Louverture, rising from coachman to general. used similar signals to outmaneuver Napoleon's legions, turning yellow fever and guerrilla thumps into victory. This black Jacobin thunder inspired bosses, plotters, smuggling abolitionist pamphlets via drum-rooted runners. Even in defeat, Haiti's echo banned slave trades empire-wide by 1807. Fast forward, in 1960s Jamaica, Rastafari drummers at Count Ossie's camp blend nyabinghi with Buru beats deep, ancestral talks that birth Rasta Road communes, defying poverty. Real story, a Buru elder, inspired by Tacky's lore, teaches kids in Kingston shanties how a single heartbeat rhythm evaded patrols, now sampled in dancehall tracks, protesting police brutality. Feel the weight. That same pulse, once punishable by death, now heals in therapy circles, sinking breaths for trauma survivors. Speculation. As AI decodes lost languages, might we hear Tacky's final commands, rewriting history's score? So, there you have it, friends, the untold saga of how band drums didn't just survive. They symphonized the fight for freedom, from Tacky's coded war cries to Marley's global groove. Oppression sparks the strongest art. A bamboo stomp breaks taboos. A steel note shatters silence, showing that resistance isn't just loud. It's the quiet heartbeat of souls standing strong. Mysteries linger, though what undiscovered codes hide in forgotten Maroon songs? Could those ancient tones inspire our next wave of justice? I speculate. In a world still echoing empire's chains, these rhythms prophesy unity, urging us to drum louder against division. What hits you hardest? The ingenuity of tamboo bamboo or reggae's revolutionary fire? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's jam on this history. If this beat moved you, like, share with a fellow time traveler, and subscribe for more dives into the sounds that shaped us. Thanks for riding the rhythm with me. Stay curious, stay beating.